diodes are. Richard will be talking about Polyphotonics, the company, I'm sure. But just so you know, we are actually based at the Printed Electronics Centre up at Sedgefield that Peter mentioned. So we get access to all the exciting kit there. Just before I launch in the agenda there's some information on me, and it makes me look incredibly a lot more exciting than I actually am, because it tells me that I'm actually I spent lots of time in France painting, which unfortunately I didn't, and that was Richard. So I actually spent a lot of time in labs with lasers and optics and no light. So. Okay, so anyway, let's kick off. What we're actually talking about, what Polyphotonics is about, is actually light. So we're talking about light and light systems here. If I can get that to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is say, okay, organic light emitting diodes. What are they? How do they work? How do you make them? And how do they compare to other light sources? Just so that you can kind of get your creative juices flowing and thinking about how you might use OLEDs. And then Rich is going to talk about all the exciting sort of applications and what we're up to and how we can use these devices. So what are organic LEDs? They're based on something called electroluminescence, which basically means you stick a voltage across something, a current flows, and you get light out of it. And they're based on both small molecules and polymers, so chains of small molecules. Two different sort of areas really, and that's quite important because they have different properties and they're also manufactured in a different way as well. I put this up because loads of people think this. Organic does not refer to expensive fruit and veg or milk, but it refers to the materials being carbon based. So these polymers have got chains of carbon atoms inside them. It would be nice to have a sort of organic made in the UK label on them actually. It'd probably make them more valuable, but that's just clearing that up because I've had 3 people say that in the last 2 weeks. OLEDs are very thin. You've probably heard this before. They're flat. They're lightweight. I've got an example of some of the little devices that we make at Polyphotonics here. You can see this is on glass. It's on a very flat, small piece of glass, thin. You can actually put these, as shown in the picture there, onto flexible substrates. There are some issues with that which I'll talk about. They're a diffuse area source, so they lend themselves to broad areas, unlike LEDs, for example, which are more like a beam of light, or a focused beam of light. They have excellent colour. I couldn't think of how to say that otherwise.